What if the same local AI model gives you a different answer or even breaks a tool call just because you changed the runtime underneath it? That's one of the more useful reality checks making the rounds today. Welcome to the Automated Daily, Hacker News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. I'm Trent Teller, and today is August 23rd, 2026. This episode is brought to you by 11 Labs. 11 Labs lets you discover the future of AI audio with cutting-edge voice technology. Find the link in the episode notes. We'll start with that AI reliability story. A detailed post argues that local models can seem worse than the reference model for a simple reason. Inference choices change behavior in meaningful ways. Different attention backends, quantization settings, and hardware setups can alter token decisions enough to break long context tasks and tool use. The important part is not that this is surprising in theory, but that it shows up in practice. If you're evaluating a local model for real work, a few short prompts are not enough. You need to test it in the exact conditions where you expect it to operate. Staying with AI infrastructure, the Model Context Protocol team has published a new roadmap. The direction is pretty clear. More support for long-running agent workflows, a cleaner HTTP-based transport story, stronger identity and security, and better developer experience in the SDKs. In plain terms, MCP is moving from a useful connector spec towards something more stable and enterprise-ready. That matters because more AI products now depend on shared ways to connect models, tools, and services without inventing a new integration layer every time. On the developer tooling side, one programmer shared a week of using Codex more than Claude for coding work. Their impression was that Codex felt more restrained and literal, often producing simpler solutions, while Claude felt more familiar and more proactive. But the bigger point is that neither tool magically removes the usual engineering work of testing, review, and cleanup. The post also notes that Git operations were a weak point when instructions were vague. So the story here is less about picking a winner and more about a growing split in AI coding styles, one assistant that pushes forward and another that sticks closer to the brief. On a lighter note, someone went down a rabbit hole tracking startup names built around a number plus the word labs. Inspired by names like 11 Labs and 12 Labs, they found the pattern stretches surprisingly far, with examples all the way across the number line. It's a funny observation, but it also says something real about startup culture. In the AI era especially, branding converges fast, and once a naming style signals technical credibility, founders start arriving at the same formula independently, or at least seemingly so. Away from current product cycles, there was also a friendly introduction to Rocket that made a strong case for revisiting Lisp ideas. The piece walks through the basics, but the real appeal is what Rocket represents. A language where code can be treated as data, abstractions can stay elegant, and macros let you extend the language itself. That still matters because modern software often rewards familiarity over flexibility, and Rocket is a reminder that programming languages can shape how we think, not just what we ship. And finally, a more general essay on writing offered a simple rule. If you want to become a better writer, read more and read widely. The author's point is that reading teaches structure, voice, pacing, and attention in ways no formula can. It also pushes back against the fragmented habits encouraged by feeds in short-form media. Even in tech, that lands well. Clear writing usually comes from clear reading, and both are tied to the ability to sit with complex ideas long enough to make sense of them. Thanks to our sponsor, Prezi. Prezi helps you create stunning AI-powered presentations in minutes. Find the link in the episode notes. That's it for today's edition. If one theme tied these stories together, it's that the tools we use, the names we choose, and even the habits we keep all shape the work more than we sometimes admit. Thanks for listening, and you can find links to all the stories in the episode notes.